만나서 반갑습니다.
It's good to see you all here tonight.
정문적설이라는 것은 강의가 아니라 대화입니다.
A Dharma talk is not a lecture, it's a conversation.
보통 전통적으로 설법이라는 것은 먼저 경전을 읽고 해석을 하고 그 다음에 우리 생활에 적용하는 방식입니다.
So traditionally, the format of a talk, a religious talk, is I read a part of a sacred text, I describe it, deliver lessons learned, then we seek to apply it to everyday life.
이것은 부처의 얘기를 먼저 하고 그것을 중생에게 적용하는 방식입니다.
So basically, this method is talk about what Buddha said first and try to apply it to our everyday people.
근데 오늘 우리가 하려고 하는 이 대화 방식은 그것과 조금 다릅니다.
But the format we seek tonight is a little different.
우리들의 얘기를 먼저 하려고 합니다.
We seek to talk about ourselves first.
살아가면서 겪는 여러 가지 애환을 우리가 먼저 얘기하고
Talk about issues that we encounter every day.
왜 우리는 이렇게 괴로울 수밖에 없는가 이것을 서로 대화를 하면서 살펴봅니다.
And explore why we need to suffer in this way.
그러다 보면 점점 우리들의 이 괴로움이 옅어지고 사라집니다.
And as we explore together the sources of suffering, the suffering itself fades and goes away.
점점 우리가 부처의 세계로 나아가게 됩니다.
And we take one more step in an iterative fashion to the world of Buddha.
이것이 증문즉설의 방식입니다.
And that is the format we seek to engage with this Dharma talk tonight.
부탁께서 원래 이렇게 대화를 하셨습니다.
So this actually was the original format of teaching of the original Buddha.
그래서 오늘 우리들도 우리들의 얘기를 먼저 해보겠습니다.
So that's why thus tonight we want to start by talking about ourselves.
오늘 대화 중에 누가 이렇게 말했다. 경전에 이렇게 써놨다. 이것은 진리의 기준이 될 수가 없습니다.
So as we engage in this talk tonight, if somebody says this is what Buddha said, or this is what the sacred text says, that is not the standard by which we judge whether a saying is truth or not.
부탁께서 이렇게 말씀하셨어요.
So this is what Buddha said.
과거로부터 전승되어 내려오는 경전이나 윤리나 도덕,
The ethics or the morals or the teachings that we inherit from the past,
관습이나 습관
the
이런
norms, the
것들에
habits,
의해서 진리는 검증되어지지 않는다.
these are not the criteria by which we judge the truth.
사실인가?
Is this a fact?
이런 관점에서 우리가 대화를 해보려고 합니다.
Or is this the truth? This is how we want to approach tonight's conversation.
예를 들어서 말씀을 드려보면
For example,
어떤 사람은 신이 있다고 말을 합니다.
some people say that there is a God.
어떤 사람은 없다고 말을 합니다.
Some people say there isn't.
그럼 누구 말이 맞는가?
Then who's
우리는
right?
이렇게 접근을 합니다.
Then that's how we approach it. Who's right?
아무리 밤새도록 얘기해도
We may
결론이
debate
나지 않습니다.
we may debate this through the nights, but we are not going to arrive at a conclusion.
어떻게 접근해야 하는가?
Then how should we approach this question?
한 사람은 신이 있다고 믿고 있고 한 사람은 신이 없다고 믿고 있구나.
So one person believes in God and the other person doesn't.
두 사람의 믿음이 다르구나.
So we have a difference in opinion.
이렇게 다름을 인정하면 됩니다.
All you have to do is acknowledge the differences
이것이 사실입니다.
because that's the fact.
오늘 여러분과 대화는 이런 식으로 진행할 겁니다.
And that's how I want to approach tonight's conversation with you all.
오늘 뭐 특정한 종교 얘기를 하려는 건 아닙니다.
So I'm not here to talk about some specific religious topic.
네, 그러면 시작해 보겠습니다.
So let's begin.
누구든지 질문이 있거나 어려움이 있으면 이 마이크 앞에서 얘기해 주시기 바랍니다.
So whoever has a question or has an issue that he or she wants to talk about, please come forward to the mic.
I'm struggling between pursuing my dream and wanting to be with the person I'm in love. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a student studying in the States and I'm just here for the summer vacation. And my boyfriend's in Korea right now. Would it be unreasonable or ridiculous to follow my heart and decide to be with my boyfriend and not necessarily pursue my dream in the States.
제가 시골에서 자랐습니다.
So I grew up in a country.
그때 제가 들은 얘기를 해보겠습니다.
So this is a story I heard.
옛날에는 가난한 사람이 남의 집에 머슴을 살았습니다.
So there was a poor person who actually lived in somebody else's house as basically a servant.
그러면 이제 일을 하다가 중간에 참이라고 해서 식사와 식사 사이에 음식을 주는 게 있습니다.
So there's basically a lunch, right? A meal is provided in midst of labor.
그럴 때 주로 전통적으로 주는 것은 밥을 조금 주거나 아니면 막걸리를 한 잔 주게 됩니다.
So basically, at that point, that little meal consists of either rice or a Korean traditional liquor called makgeolli.
그래서 그 주인이 말했습니다. 밥 먹을래? 막걸리 마실래?
So the master asked the servant, "Do you want rice or do you want makgeolli?"
그러니까 그 일꾼이 한참 생각하다가 막걸리에 밥을 말아 먹겠습니다.
So the servant said, after thinking about it for a while, and said, "You know what? I'm going to actually put the rice into makgeolli and have it together."
제 얘기를 듣고 깨달은 바가 없어요?
So does that strike a bell somehow with you?
I have no idea.
잘 모르겠습니다.
남자친구와 함께 꿈을 추구하면 되잖아요.
So why don't you pursue your dreams with your boyfriend?
I mean, to be honest, I don't know if that's an option I can consider.
왜 둘 중에 하나를 선택해야 된다고 생각합니까? 둘
Why?
다 하면 되죠.
So why is this choice a binary choice for you? Why can't you do it both?
My boyfriend was born here and spent all of his life here, and I grew up abroad. And knowing how much my parents and family put effort and how much they sacrificed for my education in the States, I don't know if I can, withdraw all of them and just come back here just to be with them.
다시 물어보겠습니다.
So I'm going to ask you again.
꿈이 뭐예요?
What is your dream?
As in career-wise or just in general?
자기가 말하기를 꿈과 남자친구를 어느 걸 선택해야 되느냐고 물었잖아요. 그
Your
꿈이
origin-
뭐냐고 묻는 거예요.
So you asked originally you had to choose between your boyfriend, follow your hearts, or your dream. So I'm asking, what is the nature of that dream?
I'm an art student, so I've always thought of becoming an artist, and I've heard that it's better for artists to perform and have a career abroad. So I think I was just unconditionally drawn to that idea.
BTS는 해외 가서 음악 공부가 됐습니까?
Is BTS a success because they studied abroad?
No.
관계없는 두 개를 가지고 자기가 갈등하는 거예요.
So you're being conflicted about two things. There should not be boundary. It's not necessarily in conflict with each other.
여기는 여러 가지 선택이 있을 수
So you
있습니다.
have a lot of different choices.
첫째, 남자친구를 버리고 해외 가서 공부할 수도 있고요.
So the first option is that you give up your boyfriend and go abroad,
남자친구를 위해서 예술을 버릴 수도 있고요.
or you can give up your dreams of becoming an artist and stay with your boyfriend,
공부를 먼저 하고 돌아와서 남자친구를 만날 수도 있고요.
or study abroad, finish your studies, and come back and be with your boyfriend then afterwards,
남자친구를 데리고 외국에 가서 예술을 할 수도 있고요.
or take your boyfriend abroad with you and engage in your studies.
여기서 남자친구와 남자친구가 있으면서 예술을 할 수도 있고.
Or you can engage in your artistry here with your boyfriend.
그 중에 자기가 선택하면 돼요.
So all you have to do is just make a choice.
같이 할 수도 있고.
You could do it together.
순서를 매겨가 먼저 하고 나중 할 수도 있고.
Or you change the order in which you do
그
either
중에
things.
하나를 할 수도 있고.
Or you can choose one over the other.
그 하면 되지. 그게 왜 고민이에요?
So you can just choose. Doesn't have to be conflicted about it.
Can I ask a question?
얘기하세요.
So my boyfriend and I have actually been talking about this a lot for the past few months, and I told him that I'd come back just to be with him after graduating from college because I still have a year left, and he said he didn't think he could wait for me for another year. And although I do want to stay in the States to pursue my dream, it's incredibly hard to get all the visas and logistical stuff ready and build a stable life there. So I'm like in between of
근데 그렇게 나를 존중하지 않는 남자친구가 왜 필요한지 모르겠네. 저는 들어도 잘 이해가 안 되는데.
So I don't quite understand, why you need a boyfriend who doesn't respect your choices.
그거 왜 친구로 삼아요?
So why do you need somebody like that?
그거 일찍 버려요.
I say you give him up, quicker the better.
now it's like I just asked you
남자친구
stupid
사귀는
question.
수준이 그래밖에 안 돼요.
So I mean, is that the level of your boyfriend that you want to be with?
사랑을 위해서 왕위도 버린다 이런 말 들어봤죠? 사랑을 위해서 왕위도 버린다 이런 말 들어봤죠? 왕위, 왕도
네.
버린다.
So others have given up their crown for love, right?
그러니까 그 뭐 학교 버리는 거 그게 뭐 또 큰 문제예요.
So it's not a big deal to give up your school for love, from that perspective.
자기도 학교를 못 버리는 사랑이니까 그 깊은 사랑이 아니고요.
So since this, the love you feel for your boyfriend, you're still conflicted over whether you should give up your school or not. So it's really not that deep.
당신 남자친구도 1년도 못 가다라는 그건 사랑도 아니에요.
And your boyfriend, the love that he feels for you, he can't wait, for just a year. Then that's not a deep love either.
그러니까 별로 중요하지 않는 사랑을 하고 있는
So
거다.
what I'm saying is that this love is probably not the love of your lifetime. It's not that important.
Even if he's already waited for 4 years.
뭐 4년도 기다렸는데 1년 더 기다리면 되지 뭘 그렇게 큰 일이야.
So what's one more year then?
결정이 났어요?
Have you decided?
스님이 답은 줄 수가 없어요.
I can't give you the right answer.
이런 대화를 통해서 자기가 뭔가 자각을 해야 돼요.
It's something that you have to come to yourself, a conclusion through a conversation we're having.
I think I'll need more time to think about this.
네, 그러면 죽을 때까지 결론이 안 날 거예요.
And then you won't be able to make a choice until you die.
이 자리에서 결론이 안 나면 집에 가도 결론이 안 납니다.
Because if you can't really make a choice right now, it doesn't mean more time is not going to help you make a choice.
Hopefully, I'll decide by the end of tonight.
네, 그 끝날 때 한 번 더 질문할 기회를 드리겠습니다.
Okay, so we'll come back to you at the end of tonight then.
네, next.
Thank you.